Basically, last week we did nekudot tovos, and we possible. Hello. Last week we did nekudot tovos, and basically, so just to remind everybody, we're gonna do quiet. Okay, we're being dan l'kafskas other people, right? And dan l'kafskas doesn't mean. It does mean like judging people favorably, but Rebbe Nachman takes it and he's saying that it's really like finding the good points in each person and finding the good points in, like even a Russia, like you can't deny that they're doing bad. That's not allowed, like evil is evil and we have to know the difference between good and bad. But what you could do is like recognize that they do have something good in them. And even if it's just that they were born a Jew, that's enough. And that's already a very big deal. Like Hashem set them aside and separated them and made them from His glory, And also, and then Rebbe Nachman took it a step further and flipped it, and he said, now the main thing really is to bring these nekudot tovos to yourself. And when we're feeling down and distraught and depressed and feel like we're so far from Hashem, it's the main thing is really to find the good points within us and to realize that we have so much self-worth and that we're so worthy and that Hashem set us aside and wanted us to specifically be here at this moment, at this point, wherever we are, and to really, and Rebbe Nachman says, like, you have to gather all these good points, like first you gather one, then you grab another, slowly, and you build yourself up through that. And the reason, just to why, like what's the point of all this? So the reason is because in order to get to like the highest levels of avodas Hashem, you need joy. That's it. That's the key here. And like how, and Rebbe Nachman's teaching us the secret of how to find this joy. Okay? Right, I love that. So, okay, and then like the end part of the piece was talking about like the Tzaddik and how the Tzaddik like is able to be like the Baal Tefillah for us, and he's able to raise up all our good points. And it talks about Moshe Rabbeinu also, and like if you think about us in the Midbar, like we were constantly complaining to Hashem and making it difficult and everything, and Moshe just kept on like bringing up our good points basically to Hashem and like, went to bat for us constantly, when Hashem wanted to destroy us in different times. And that's really what the Tzaddik does. You gotta get it. Right? A person should never let his own smallness, insignificance, and humility cover up his true greatness. For sometimes a person downgrades himself to excess and forgets that he still has many amazing attributes. So that's from Siach Sifrei Kodesh, from Rebbe Nachman. So it's just like, it's amazing, right? Like, I feel like in the way we were raised, so much of us is all about like, do everything humbly, with humility, and like, just curious to know. I think like if we would brag more and like even brag to ourselves, brag to our husband, brag to our moms, whoever like actually cares to hear it, like we would, like it would do so much more for us than like this whole downplaying everything, like I remember when I had baby meals, like, and when everyone would bring like baby meals to me, and every time somebody would bring me a baby meal, they'd give me like some excuse or some apology of why it's not like a certain way, like I'm so sorry it's late, or I'm so sorry I didn't have enough time to chop up the salad, right, or I didn't have enough time to make you a dessert. I'm just like, what? I remember it like struck me because it was like every night, like somebody came with like a different thing,
salad from my bar. She's like, oh, it was a big deal. I'm like, no, it wasn't a big deal. She's like, you're right, it was out of love. And right. I love that it was like, no, like it is hard. Like you have your life and you have your everything. And I stopped and made you this gorgeous salad.
Right. And for sure. And the point is that like it's just so hard to like, we're so good at downgrading ourselves, and we're so good at like throwing our mitzvahs in the garbage we spoke about in the past. Like it's just it's not important.
Or not good enough.
Right. Not important, not good enough. Like it's all about not believing in the self-worth.
Be more confident about that instead of like labels and garments and exterior things and like if we could share that, that's encouragement. It's not like a bragging thing. It's like encouragement for other people to like gain strength from.
But it also gets dangerous, and I think this is why people don't do it so much, because like people fall, like we also all fall into comparing ourselves.
Right.
That's like, so it makes somebody feel that, but there are plenty of people that I'm sure everyone could figure out, or certain things you could brag about. Certain people you brag about certain things, and other people other things.
Torah, we know that we need to.
Or maybe it's like bragging to Hashem.
Right, or brag to.
Or if somebody walks around bragging about themselves, you think there's something wrong with them.
Right, but that's it's not like
it's nice to like not put yourself out at the same time. Like, you have to have
I have a friend who like mom takes care of her mother. Her mother's like living in her house on tubes with a nurse.
Pass me a cup of water.
And she'll be like, that's nothing. And I'm like, no, you need to tell people
that here.
because people need to recognize. Wow, people need to recognize.
Hello, Vera.
You're godless. Because it's going to give them strength for when they have to go shopping for their mother. You know what I mean?
Okay, we're a little short on time, so I'm gonna move on, okay? Hello, Vered, welcome. Okay, sorry that and it's my fault that we're short on time, so I apologize. Okay, so next line.
You're giving a shit.
Right?
You're apologizing, you're giving a shit.
Right, no, but I like the full hour, Okay. Here we go. Okay, next line. I love this too. This is this is Likutei Moharan 222. Okay, you should always try to be happy and I've got a chair and serve Hashem with joy. And even if you sometimes fall short of your level, you can still encourage yourself by thinking of earlier times when you did have a taste of delight. Right? Like sometimes it's so hard to we're like so stuck, and it's like, but you should, which is similar to the nekudot tovos, like go back and like think of like when Hashem did shine his light on you. A number of blind people can all take hold of one slighted person and follow him trustingly. A blind man trusts his stick and follows it even though he sees nothing. How much more should you follow your own self? Because the light did shine and on you previously, arousing and inspiring you to serve Hashem. Maybe you feel you have fallen and that your eyes and heart are closed. Even so, you should still hold on to those earlier days. Just as you were aroused and encouraged to serve Hashem then, strengthen yourself now by following the sense of arousal you felt then. God will soon help you, and his light will shine on you again. So that's amazing. Like, first of all, I love that it says, like, follow yourself, and, like, go to these places where you had, like, past inspiration and think of it. And we're so lucky, like in this generation, because we actually have pictures. Like I feel like, like when you feel like sad or whatever, like sometimes just looking at like happy times and looking at like the past of like when you knew you were in a good place, like it does a lot, Right. I didn't either until I read this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, pictures. Like we're so lucky. We literally we have it, or like a song, like all that nostalgia, it's like, it's real stuff. Okay, so I wanted to bring this story. Oh, we're not so bad. Okay, the Turkey Prince. So this is really about the Tzaddik and like what the Tzaddik does for us, and I love this story. I don't think I ever brought it, right? Do you guys? No. Okay. The Turkey Prince. Once the king's...
Because I know this from Ezra, not from you.
Okay. Once the king's son went mad. He thought he was a turkey. He felt compelled to sit under the table without any clothes on, pulling at bits of bread and bones like a turkey. None of the doctors could do anything to help him or cure him, and they gave up in despair. The king was very sad, until a wise man came and said, I can cure him. What did the wise man do? He took off all his clothes and sat down naked under the table next to the king's son, and also pulled at crumbs and bones. The prince asked him, who are you, and what are you doing here? The prince asked him, who are you, and what are you doing here? And what are you doing here? And what are you doing here? Replied the wise man. I am a turkey, said the prince. Well, I'm also a turkey, said the wise man. The two of them sat there together like this for some time, until they were used to one another. Then the wise man gave a sign, and they threw them shirts. The wise man turkey said to the king's son, do you think a turkey can't wear a shirt? You can wear a shirt and still be a turkey. The two of them put on shirts. After a while, he gave another sign, and they threw them some trousers. Again, the wise man said, do you think if you wear trousers, you can't be a turkey? They put on the trousers. One by one, they put on the rest of their clothes in the same way. Afterwards, the wise man gave a sign, and they put down human food from the table. The wise man said to the prince, "Do you think that if you eat good food, you can't be a turkey anymore? You can eat this food and still be a turkey." They ate. Then he said to him, "Do you think a turkey has to sit under the table? You can be a turkey and sit up at the table." This was how the wise man dealt with the prince, until in the end he cured him completely. So I just felt like the story like had so much to do with like the tzaddik gathering the nekudot tovos. Like there's so many like amazing.
I really don't understand the story.
Okay. Basically, I'll recap it. Thank you. There was a king. There's a king's son, right? The prince, which is us. Okay, right? And he went mad. He thought he was a turkey. He thought he was a turkey. Like how much of us don't
identify the turkey?
Right.
Yes,
Furry, like the furry.
Oh, right. That's right. Right. But even right. But even not that extreme, even though that extreme is very interesting, and we could probably spend days talking about that. But like. Even the fact that like, okay, so the king's, like, we are the king's son, right? And like we go mad because we're in the skullas and like we don't realize who we are. We just have like, we don't understand our worth. We don't understand, like we're the Kohanim of the world. And like if you're a Kohen, that's even cooler, you know? But because you're the Kohen of the Kohanim of the world. But that's who we are. Like we're this. What?
Wow, I never understood it like that. Like we think we're treating ourselves as turkeys. Like we're not seeing our greatness. We're not seeing our
exactly. It's totally like just as hilarious as it is as this king's son. Imagine like a 40-year-old like prince, you know, like sitting under a table and like completely naked, like pretending he's a turkey. That's what we do. Like we don't realize who we are, you know. And, without any clothes on, like complete shame and complete like detachment to like our worth and what we really are. And like whatever, it's not to blame, not to shame. Like this is the way Hashem wanted it and it's perfection. But the point of learning all this is to waken us up here. And like the Tzaddik, and I'm Rebbe Nachman, okay? Like he's teaching us here, like he goes under the table with us, you know, and he's like telling us like no, like you totally misunderstand. Like okay, fine, you want to be a turkey, like you want to act like the other nations, you want to act like below your level, cool, fine, but like slowly, you know, like I'm gonna show you that really like you are a prince, and that's what this story is, and it's like. I love this story,
and
but
I love how it's not like a reprimanding, like how some ways some of us were raised after the Holocaust, like
right,
preaching,
right.
Right.
It's like I'm gonna come under the table with you.
Right, he's under the table, exactly. It's such godless.
On your like eye to eye level until like you get to
right.
Can I say something about this quickly?
Please.
What's coming up for me is Hodu Hashem Ki Tov. The turkey is really for Hashem because it's good.
Hodu.
That's cute.
And yeah, you're too much. How do you think
just talk? Oh, gosh, I'm amazing.
No, that the turkey that we feed ourselves the turkey, but really we're serving to Hashem. Ki Tov, and we're good. We're finding the good.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I get it. That's amazing. I get it.
Really
I thought it.
Right. And Ki Tov, and like you said, nekudot tova. Ki Tov, because there's the nekudot tova in it.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yes.
That's the part of my brain that should be doing laundry, by the way. Instead, it's
No, better do this.
I should be able to organize my
I
house.
love to be in your
I was
brain
just
for
gonna say that.
like
I
1
need
day.
to get in there. When I'm doing laundry, can I just piggyback?
Abigail, she learned it in high school. What you just said.
That the turkey is.
Yes!
Who learned it in high
At
school?
Thanksgiving. You'll come
That's
in.
very funny. That's very funny. Oh, do you learn it in regards to Thanksgiving? That's cute.
Right. That's hysterical.
Thanksgiving. Oh, that's why it's called Thanksgiving, because Hodu is
Let me
thanks.
see what page 6 is.
It's not turkey giving.
teacher taught us that.
Who's your teacher?
Rabbi Bloom, and he
What? I never
Okay.
Maybe that's why Hodu is called turkey.
Okay.
Maybe Hodu is called turkey. Okay, guys, we're moving on.
We're moving on. Okay.
On Thanksgiving.
So we've done this piece again, but like I reread it because I was doing it I reread it for like the other chabura that I was giving because they never heard it, and then I'm like, oh my god, I had to bring it in again because there's like so many things, like you could just like learn these pieces over and over, and like there's just different things that you pick up that I don't think we like went into last time. Okay, so this is Sichot HaRan Tanina 23. I don't know what happened to all my copies, but okay. Here, you could share with me. Okay. Be'inyan ha-simcha, right? On the topic of simcha, an analogy. Sometimes when people are happy and dance, there's no 6 on that. They grab someone standing outside the circle who's depressed and gloomy. Against his will, right? Yeah.
That he put it on your invite.
I know.
She sent it to me.
Yeah.
I said, what's that thing with the dancing and the circle?
No, but it was a great idea. Okay. Against his will.
Paying attention.
Right. Yeah. Against his will, they bring him into the circle of dancers. Against his will, they force him to be happy along with them. So, yes, this is what will be happening tonight. Just for the record, no side clappers.
But if you are a side clapper, it's okay. There's no judgment.
Just pull you in.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. No judgment, but we'll pull you in. Okay.
We'll give you a
Okay.
so you'll want to
Pull you in.
Right.
Or a shot down your throat.
Okay, so it is, right? So like everyone could picture that, and we've all been that person at different points, right? Like standing off to the side when there was dancing, and even I love to dance, but you know, like I've also, whatever, we all go, you know, they're
Sometimes
different.
you're not feeling it.
Sometimes you're just not feeling it, you know? So it is the same with happiness. When a person is happy, gloom and suffering, you see, stands aside. Right? So it's like, so Rebbe Nachman's saying, like, also like with the opposite is actually with happiness. Like when a person is happy, like the gloom and suffering, like it's like quiet for a few minutes, you know? Like we're just like focused on the happiness, you know?
Talking about parts of yourself?
But he is. But we'll let's read it more and you'll see, like it's crazy. It's basically IFS.
Yeah.
Okay. Yet greater still is to gather courage to actually pursue gloom and to introduce it into joy such that the gloom itself turns into joy. Okay. So there's one level, right, of just like, okay, the sadness stands off to the side, you know, but there is a greater level. And this greater level is to gather courage. I love that it says courage. Let's read the hit amitz, okay? Lirdof. Right? You have to chase it. Achar hamara shkora dafka. Like you have to chase after this darkness, okay? Which is not easy. Like you have to go into those blocks and you do need the courage, right? And you have to introduce it into the joy such that the gloom itself turns into the joy. So like just like short like IFS thing, it's like this joy, just to make it make sense for people who are interested, but like this joy, it's like that's like self, you know, like your kind, compassionate, loving self, and like it comes and it like it's meant to like come meet up with the gloom, chase the depression, and like kindly, compassionately talk it out. And that's what he's, I mean, to me it sounds like that's exactly what he's saying, you know. A person should transform gloom and all suffering into joy. It is like a person who comes to a celebration. The abundant joy and happiness then transforms all his worries, depression, and gloom into joy. We find that he has grabbed the gloom and introduced it against its will into the joy, as in the aforementioned analogy. This is the concept of they will attain gladness and joy as sadness and sighing flee from Yeshaya. The sadness and sighing flee and run from joy. For at a time of joy, it is the nature of sadness and sighing to stand aside. Like it's normal when you're feeling happy for just it to be like quieted and stands aside. Yet one actually has to pursue them and to catch up with and reach them in order to specifically introduce them into the joy. This is the meaning of they will attain gladness and joy. Gladness and joy will catch up with and seize the sadness and sighing as they flee and run from joy in order to introduce them against their will into the joy. Is that it? For there are types of sadness and sighing that are from the other side. Hastara chara. They do not want to be a vehicle for holiness, and so they flee from joy. Consequently, one needs to force them into the holiness, the joy, against their will. So Rebbe Nachman's saying here, like, you have to actually, like, go into the blocks that you have and go into these things that are stopping you from feeling this joy. And I love that he says that you have to have courage and that you have to chase it, because it's like so easy just to denial.
He's
just
really
to deny.
was like a therapist, like before therapy came
Right.
around.
I know.
Or
Like,
Yeah.
anything that I read, I'm like, it's Rebbe Nachman.
Yeah.
Right.
Could you,
Well, he was
so you
before-
talk about this other side, what is that, what
There's
is that
nothing
talking
new.
about?
So Rebbe Nachman talks about in this piece he's hinting at it, but he talks about it in other pieces, that depression's really from the other side. Like, it's like the Yetzer Hara's best move.
Okay.
Best move. Like it wants to trip you up and take you away from Hashem, like, boom, knows exactly what it's going to do. And that's really why Rebbe Nachman puts such emphasis on simcha, and also not just him. Like, the Arizal said, like, he only got to his high levels, and like he was able to talk to birds, the Arizal, and a person was able to go to him, and he'd be like, exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. He would be like, okay, the reason, like, you need to do this, this, and this, and that's your tafkid in life, and like people would come to him from all over, and he said about himself that the only reason he got to those high levels is through doing mitzvos with joy. So again, like, it's not, like, we read these pieces and it's like, oh, it's just like feel good pieces, like so simple, so nice, but it's not that. Like, he's telling us, like, the secrets of the world here. That's what Rebbe Nachman's trying to embark on us,
How do you practically chase gloom and depression?
I think it's that bring it into the joy, right? Like, with kind, like, so in IFS terms, it would mean, like, with kind, compassionate self, like, hear why the gloom is sad, hear why the gloom is there.
Oh, like see it, not just ignore it or push it away.
No, the standing aside is one level, and he said that's a level. He said he's like gloom and sadness stands aside, and that's good. But greater still, that's what he says. He says, yet greater still is to actually, and I'm going to read this line again, yet greater still is to gather courage. You need the courage to actually pursue gloom and to introduce it into the joy.
So Ramak says to constantly think of positive things. So when you regulate your brain to be thinking positive things regularly throughout the day, it creates more of a positive brainwave. That way, when things pop up that are negative, you have the muscle to push it out faster because your brain is used to thinking positive. The avoda is throughout your day to think positive thoughts. That's
It
the.
doesn't sound like he's saying to push it away.
No,
he's not.
Bring it in. He's to bring it in and turn it into
The
joy.
Ramak is saying before, so that way you have the tools to be able, when something negative happens, you're already regulated with the concept of having simcha in your brain.
Right. So I think Rebbe Nachman would say, like, also just to, like, Rebbe Nachman really spoke about, like, milei deshtuta, like, in the beginning of these pieces that we started, like you have to just not take everything so seriously.
Right. Everything's
That's
not
just-
valuable.
Or maybe
Right. That's just like no, for sure. But I think that's all like that. The nekudot tovot is like a step. This is my I'm not anybody, but this is, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is how I understand it. Like, it's like the milei deshtuta and like the just like Sichot HaRan and like the self-care basically, and like and like learning not to take things so seriously through just having a good time. And then comes the gathering the good points, gathering all these nekudot tovos within you, and then I think like this, and then it's really like so meeting this gloom, like in a real, this sadness, in a real, this block, whatever, anger, anxiety, whatever it is for you, in like a real place, like openly and kindly and compassionately, like not like shaming anything, and that's how you bring it into the joy. Does that make sense?
Like
Like,
in the beginning,
what?
it starts out. This Torah starts out about the clapping and the dancing.
Right.
Just clapping. Also,
Right.
Spreads out.
Right.
Yeah, we had a woman who came to this shiur like one time, never to be seen again. I don't know what happened to her, but she was Chabad, and she actually said, I think we did like a thing on clapping, and she told me that, which I really try to do now. I think it's so cool, that the Lubavitcher Rebbe would always clap with the right hand above the left. Wow. He was very into clapping, but right hand is chesed. Left hand is din.
If you look at his videos, you actually see.
And he was very right. So I never knew. I noticed it in the video. I mean, I didn't really notice, but like once she said it, I was like, oh yeah, you know. But yeah. I mean, whatever.
What you get out of it is really not focusing on you. It's interesting you're saying focus on you. The way you really get out of depression is focusing on helping others.
Like the giraffe, the mitzvah.
I don't
giraffe.
see that.
Chesed.
I don't see that personally.
Really?
No, but it's good. But that could work for you, you know.
I feel like the way to get out of your rut is by helping others, and it gets you out of it. I don't know.
I feel like when you're in a better place, you could give more.
Right.
It's very hard to be in a bad place and just give because it doesn't feel like
Right. I feel just.
I feel like in my life when I've been happy, I've been always good.
Right. That's so nice.
No, not so nice. I'm just saying.
No, it's beautiful. Right. No, I think there's something to that for sure. But I think I don't know. I think his advice works the best for me. That's the truth. And sometimes doesn't work at all. But if
what does work is his advice.
Right. If something will have a chance of working, it will be this, you know. Okay. So what did I do next for you guys?
Sad Tzaddik.
The sad Tzaddik. Okay. So this story really is nekudot tovos, and it's great. So again, just putting it out there. Rebbe Nachman said, I tell stories, like most people tell stories to put people to bed, I tell stories to wake people up. So even though these stories might seem something elementary or like, oh, cute, like it's not.
No, I totally get the turkey and it was amazing.
Yeah,
Right.
I got chills when you explained it.
Yeah, it's on the turkey, amazing. I really could have saved it for it didn't exactly fit in, but I'm like, no, I just love this story so much, I can't.
It does. Thanksgiving's coming up.
Oh yeah, you know what? It was really apropos. You're right. Yeah. Okay.
When I come back, I'll
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. The sad Tzaddik, guys. I think we could get this done in 10 minutes. Let's rock and roll. Okay. It is very bad to be sad all the time. And one should do everything possible to avoid it. Now, we know Rebbe Nachman, and we know he's not, shaming people. So, and all he tries to do is encourage and chizuk. That's what's so, when he says this, he doesn't mean,
It's under the table with us.
Right, exactly. He's just trying to teach us, not to, tell us you're pathetic, you know? Try to inject enthusiasm into your life, like the Ramak, right? Encourage yourself by remembering that every single movement and gesture you make towards serving Hashem is very precious in His eyes, even if you advance no more than a hair's breadth, right? So that alone, we should highlight it,
right.
You know? Okay. In this world, the world of action, man dwells in a body. This makes every single forward movement extremely difficult, and that is why each one is so precious in God's eyes. We're earth. We're made from Adamah. Everything is heavy. It's hard to move at all, to get any type of movement, and that's why any movement towards Ruchnius is so precious in Hashem's eyes. It is told that a certain tzaddik was overcome with a terrible sense of sadness and heaviness. It is very hard indeed when sadness and heaviness take hold of a tzaddik because they attack him even more strongly. Eventually, this tzaddik fell into such a mood of deep discouragement and heaviness that he found it literally impossible even to move. He wanted to encourage himself and pull himself up, but nothing could make him happy or inspired. No matter what he tried to be happy about, the evil one found some reason to make him depressed about it. Eventually, he could find nothing to be happy about because whenever he tried to be happy about something, he found in it something to make him depressed. Right? That's what we were talking about. It's oh, I did this huge mitzvah, but you know, or I woke up early to daven this morning. Yeah, but I woke up and I didn't have any kavanah anyways, and it was just a waste of my time, you know? We do this all the time. Finally, he started trying to make himself happy by dwelling on the fact that he did not make me a heathen. This is certainly reason to feel immeasurable joy, because the vast gulf between the holiness of even the simplest Jew and the impurity of the heathens is beyond all measure. When a person thinks of God's kindness to him because he did not make me a heathen, he should feel ever-increasing joy, a joy that is not mixed with any sadness. When someone tries to make himself happy over a personal achievement of some kind, he can always find a reason to be unhappy in it. No matter what he may have achieved, he may always find shortcomings and deficiencies which stop him from pulling himself up and feeling perfectly happy. However, not to have been created a heathen is a gift of Hashem alone. God himself did it. He had mercy on the person and did not make him a heathen. How could anything be lacking in this joy, since it is exclusively the work of God? Regardless of what kind of Jew the person may be, there is certainly an immeasurable difference between himself and the heathens, right? Like, Hashem made you special on his own, for his own reasoning, like nothing to do with you. Like this is just how we were born. The sad tzaddik started making himself feel happy about this. He started rejoicing and raising himself little by little. With each passing moment, he felt ever greater joy, until he reached such a level of joy that he attained to the joys Moshe experienced when he ascended to receive the Torah. As the tzaddik raised himself and rejoiced, he flew thousands and thousands of miles through the upper worlds. Suddenly, he took a look at himself and saw that he was far, far away from the place where he had been at first. He felt great anguish over the thought that he might fall somewhere, and the local people would be very surprised that he had suddenly disappeared, because he flew so far. So he's like, oh my gosh, like how could I, like I'm going to be like a gazillion years away from my body. A tzaddik always wants to walk modestly, and his happiness began to subside, because happiness has its limits. It starts and then it comes to an end. When his happiness began to subside, it subsided little by little, and he descended little by little. As he descended from the place where he had flown in his ecstasy, he did not return to his original place by the path he took when ascending. Rather, he dropped straight down from where he was. He was therefore very surprised to discover that he had returned to his original place. So as far as he was concerned, he came back to right where he was. Understand this well. When he looked at himself, he saw that he was actually in the very place in which he had been at first. He had not moved from there at all, except perhaps by a slight hair's breadth. For no human can measure anything so exactly. God alone knows. The tzaddik found it amazing that he had flown so far through so many different worlds, yet here below, he had not moved from his place at all. This was the lesson to him that even the tiniest movement one makes to edge forward and advance slightly in this world, even if less than a hair's breadth, is so precious in Hashem's eyes that even millions of miles and millions of worlds cannot compare with it. So to us, it always looks like we're not moving at all. Like we got into the same fight with our husbands. We got into the same, we're exactly where we were. But only Hashem knows that in the upper worlds, like we're in a completely different place, you know? And like we moved like billions of miles. This may be understood when we view this material world as the center point of the planetary spheres. All the more so in relation to the higher spiritual worlds. The entire earth is certainly considered as no more than a tiny point. From this point, you can draw as many lines as you wish in any direction. Where the lines start extending out of the point, they are all very close to one another, but the further they extend from the point, the further apart they become. When the lines are very far away from the point, the lines are also very far apart from one another, despite the fact that close to the point itself, they're very near to each other. Okay, so like you have like a center point, right? And then like from the center point, like just imagine like arrows moving, not that way, moving up, right? And you see how the cup gets like wide, like it keeps on going, and like before you know it, like all the arrows are like millions of miles away from each other. And that's what it's like, and that's what it's like with us, like when we do these like little movements, like it seems like a nothing, you know, but it's like millions of miles away. Imagine lines stretching from this lower world only so far as the planetary spheres. Even if a person moves no more than a single hair's breadth from the place where he was in this world on the level of planetary spheres, there is enormous distance, millions of miles, between the place that he was above and his head at first and the place above his head now. The distance is in proportion to the size of the highest sphere as compared with this world down below. For the highest sphere contains stars without number, and every star is the size of this world or more. How much more so when one imagines these lines extending even further, beyond the spheres of the planets and stars, to the higher spiritual worlds, compared with which all the spheres of the planets and stars are considered nothing. So like take a minute to like imagine that, and like imagine like how far it's going. Like we have so we have like what we see in our world, and then it goes beyond the world into the heavenly worlds, and it just keeps on going further out. Like it's like not even relatable, to like where the person is, even though to him it just seems like maybe he moved a hair's breadth. Yeah.
Every tiny thing that we do here is so big in Shemayim.
Right. There's for sure like a math concept to explain this, but like I don't know, like yeah, whatever. Like what is it? I don't know. Okay, even the tiniest movement of less than a hair's breadth that a person makes here in this world thus causes an immeasurably greater movement in the higher spiritual worlds. Even though in this lowly world the person may feel he has hardly moved at all, because it is impossible to measure the distance he moved, and only Hashem knows. Nevertheless, in the higher spheres he has moved through thousands and thousands of worlds and miles. How much greater then is the distance one moves in the higher worlds when he advances a whole mile or more in the service of Hashem in this world. So even whatever it looks like this little change to us is beyond measure in the next world. So, okay, I'm just gonna give us a bracha. I just want to give us all a bracha that like we should all really do mitzvos b'simcha and feel our self-worth and our goodness, and like understand like we really are like we're the Am HaKadosh, we're separate, and Hashem made us this way because He loves us, and just that's it. Like recognize what we really are and what we really stand to give.
We love you, Becky. You're the best.